Welcome to what for probably most of you is the final of the Senior Four Steps. I think that most of you have attended the senior meeting. Most of you have signed the recruiting code of conduct and turned it in. You are now here. And the fourth and final one is refreshing your profile on Mojo. Now, if you've been into Mojo yet, it dawned on us the other day when we were talking that we hadn't given you at the senior meeting the other night sort of the history and the whys of these Senior Four Steps. Why do we do this? Why do we require this? And I think it'll be helpful for you to know. A number of years ago, we were getting all kinds of feedback from employers, from our alumni, in certain situations, parents, about how ill-prepared Middlebury students were for the interviews. That they were not showing well, they had typos in their resumes, their cover letters were awful. And we even had recruiters who had decided not to come back to Middlebury and recruit, that they had such a disappointing visit here. Well, we certainly knew that we have, the greatest group of students going, and we realized that what you needed was some preparation. But we also realized that you needed to know what was available and what the resources were and how to access them and all of that in order to be properly prepared. So thus we launched the Senior Four Steps. So we did not concoct this just to make you sit in a room with, a couple of hundred of your best friends on a beautiful September night. As a form of punishment. It really did make a huge difference. In fact, in the first year, and ever since then, we rarely, if ever, get negative feedback about a resume. We always get tremendous feedback about our students and their interviewing. Each employer that comes or that you go and see fills out a feedback form on every student that they see. And they check off all these different areas. And almost always, you all get 4s and 5s. So it is an important process. So without further ado, let's move ahead. One other thing about Mojo, quickly before I go ahead. By Monday, those of you that have finished the 4 steps should be able to go ahead and start applying for the positions that are in Mojo already. And there are some with some fairly early deadlines. Now, don't get confused. These are positions for next July or August or whatever. You're not expected to go to work, like next month, even though they're listed so early. For those of you who haven't completed your 4 steps, once you get those completed, then you will be able to apply through the system also. At the present time, since you have nothing better to do over the weekend, you can upload your resume, a cover letter. You certainly can go in there and see what all the jobs are. You can get in there. The only thing that you can't do is apply. Okay. All right, these are kind of the main components that I want to talk about initially. And we'll move through these fairly quickly. But first of all, life after Middlebury and choosing your work. There are an awful lot of college seniors that let their work happen to them rather than, deciding. Because not deciding is deciding. It's decision-making when you're not decision-making. So the thrust of tonight is to take advantage of the resources that are available to you to make some informed decisions. And the decision mainly before you is, how am I going to take all the best of what I've learned and developed here at Middlebury out there into the so-called real world? How am I going to get the biggest boost and use from my Middlebury education to set my life up the way that I want it to go? And that really is the decision that is before you. So tonight, we're going to quickly introduce you to some informed decision-making process and also to some job search skills. Speaking of coaching, the similarity between going out on the job search and playing a sport is very close. In a sport, you obviously have a coach, and that coach teaches you and helps you hone the skills necessary to go out on the field or the court or whatever and play. But you take that stuff out on the field or the court and play. In the job search, same thing. CSO staff, faculty, alumni, parents, and other mentors are your coaches in this process. And we're going to teach you the skills and help you sharpen them, and then you're going to take them out there and compete. So I know most of you have played at least one sport. So.